What is up, everybody? Holy shit, what a weekend. So, man, is it just insane in the world of professional wrestling right now, or what? Like, there's so much going on with WWE, the rumors, the WrestleMania coming up, the interviews we're getting now, uh, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact, the swerves to turns. It's so much. It's freaking awesome. Um, I can't describe to you guys what it's like being where I'm at in this and getting to work with the people I get to work with and talk to the people I get to talk to and meeting the people I get to meet. Um, it's nothing short of extraordinary. I'm nothing but blessed by it. Um, at this time, though, I do want to take a moment to say something, if you guys could, because I know everybody's not here right now, but eventually they'll come in or they'll rewatch the beginning of the show. I want everybody to please do me a favor. Our buddy from the Straight Up Wrestling Show, Chris, his wife ended up suffering a heart attack when they were in attendance at a wrestling event earlier in the week, and if you could just keep her in your thoughts and prayers, I would greatly appreciate that. To anybody out there, Chris is a great dude. I consider him a friend of mine. Which, if any of you know me, that's not something I hand out easily. I'm a pretty close guarded person when it comes to my real world and my real life. Whereas when I'm out in public, whether it be Pro Wrestling Union, his pro wrestling, CMW, whatever promotion I'm at, AWL, and as it used to be CPW. That's no longer around, unfortunately. Um, I always try to, you know, be that outgoing person. But it comes a point in time where you just, you switch off and you kind of keep yourself pretty reserved. Last night, I'm not going to get into Pro Wrestling Union just yet because there's a couple people out there who, when they tell me they're ready for their invite, I'll send them the invite. We'll talk about whatever happened last night. Uh, but man, last night was a great show. While I was there in attendance, somebody asked me to, put the word out on their show that's coming up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just hit the screen share for just a moment. My buddy Chris Blees met up with me outside of Pro Wrestling Union. I want to say he was there around intermission time when I went out to smoke or something. And at any rate, they promoted this event right here, and that's I want to bring that up. You know, $10 for adults, $5 for kids coming up at Relentless Church, 635 Haywood Road, Greenville, South Carolina. Like I said, I will not be in attendance. I'm not working that weekend. Uh, Two reasons. Number one, it is way too close for me to take off, and number two, um, I'm not a. I have way too much other stuff on my plate than to try to sign in for something extra right now. But so we got this show coming up, Relentless Church, like I said, in Greenville, South Carolina. It's a great venue. The venue's awesome looking. If you want to see what it looks like from a video standpoint, check out CMW Evolution. They were just there not too long ago. Young Mr. Fury, how are you doing today, sir? But, you know, I just wanted to go ahead and put the spotlight out there on that as I was asked to. And, I'm a man of my word. So, looking at everything, dude, last night, man, such a magical thing, dude. I got to meet and, and experience a match involving Colby Carino. That was unreal. Same with Jake Schuyler. John Schuyler. I'm sorry, John Schuyler. And I'll put it, I guess we're walking from the back, the dressing area. I worked backstage last night. I was not ring announcing. Matty G held the honors, and by God, he does such a great job. I freaking love Matty G. He's an awesome person. Um, hey, thank you, Cole. Cole said, "I'm here, but I'm loading up everything last night. Worn out." So, man, you let me know if you want me to shoot you an invite. You got a few minutes you want to talk, we can. But at any rate, with John Schuyler, I gotta say this. The man was super cool to meet, and just I had a very few moments to speak with him, not many, but we were both walking out of the dressing area in towards the gorilla area, before the wrestlers go through the curtain or whatever. Um, and I kind of stepped aside and said, Mr. Schuyler, you go ahead. And he goes, it's John, man. And I'm like, hey, look, I was raised military, boss. So that's just how I am. I mean nothing but respect by it. So I just hope you understand that. And he just kind of looked at me, he said, you're good, brother. And he just kind of, kept on walking. And to see guys like how Schuyler and, Colby Carino get prepared for a match and what they do, it's wild to be in that situation where you can see and understand things, and understand the preparation and the mental game that they get into, because they know what they're there for. And it is awesome to see guys on that level work, and to experience what they really go through to go and do the things that they do. If you will pardon me for just a moment, I'm gonna have myself a little drink after last night, because it's a celebration of how badass the evening was. I couldn't have been happier with the way things went, and I can't describe to you folks what that night, meant to professional wrestling on the independent level in this area. I mean, it meant an awful lot. So it was a great time. It was a great show. And once again, like I said, there were so many great matches. The card was nothing but bangers from top to bottom. That's the kicker here, folks. When you have a card with that much star power, every match has to deliver, and it did. Hell, KC, I see you're in here. If you want to come on and talk about last night, you're more than welcome to. Hell, you can even bring me messing up, trying to get stuff playing because I got distracted by a couple people. But it's just one of those things, man. There was a great deal of things going on, and it was, like I say, just a phenomenal thing to see. So getting into it, as far as the Pro Wrestling Union show went last night, man, we had the Anomaly, Antonio Morgan, facing the Outlaw Randy Wayne. So yes, the crowd was freaking great, and they loved it from start to finish. But the cool thing about the Carolina crowd is, as I've said before, you have two types of crowds here. You have a traditional Japanese crowd, in my opinion, or you have the rock concert crowd. And in our case last night, it was more of a Japanese style, but it had its moments of pop mix to it. So it was a fun crowd, and they were very engaged all night. That was awesome. And it's one of those things where you got to really put yourself in an ability to have the perception to absorb what's going on in the environment, what's going on in the moment. Now, I was a little bit back behind the curtain, so I didn't get to see as much of the crowd pop, but man, I saw the videos from my kid. She took a ton of videos. And as far as it went, with I remember Randy Wayne was walking and he walked over behind me a few moments before the show started. And when he came up to me, I was like, man, I can't wait to see your match. I've been looking forward to this. I've been waiting for this one. And he says to me, I'm just another guy, dude. And I'm like, no, you're not. You think you are. You think you're just another person. But, to these people, you're larger than life. You're a badass. You're an individual that can wreak havoc and rip souls out to these people, man. And it's so cool that he's so humble and he's so good. And Antonio Morgan, not enough can be said for the way he presents himself, the way he carries himself, and the respect he has for everybody. Um, up to and including, we went out to dinner after the show, which was a weird scenario anyway. We went to a Waffle House, myself and I fellow podcasting buddy Scott Larson from Hashtag Truth, his daughter and my daughter. We all went out. We went to the show together, and we went out to dinner afterwards. Well, we went to a Waffle House because late at night, small town, what's open? Pretty much a Waffle House. The cool thing was we got in, but right after we got served our food, all of a sudden they moved a bunch of chairs and blocked half the room off. And we were like, what the hell is going on? They said, oh, we're going to close because our cook's got to go. We're not going to be 24 hours today. And I'm like, I'm like, hey, y'all, there's more people coming from this wrestling show. They're hungry. They're going to want food. I didn't notice it at first, but Antonio Morgan had slipped in behind me when I went to the restroom to wash my hands. And, right before I ate. Well, Antonio Morgan's sitting over there, and I waved to him and say, hey, sir. And, I asked him how he was feeling. All of a sudden, he sends me a glass of milk. Man, I appreciate the gesture, my brother, but I can tell you one thing. I wouldn't have made it out of that joint before I had to hit the bathroom. And it's normally tough when you're at a Waffle House anyway. So it's just one of those things. KC, I can't agree with what you're saying about Waffle House sucks there. That's one of the better ones in the region. The two best ones in my book are that one and the one up there in Inman, like on 176. But I think those are about the two best Waffle Houses in this area. But they got to be because of their location. Every other Waffle House is a dime a dozen to me. But either way, it was a cool show. Antonio Morgan ended up getting the best of the anomaly, but it was because of interference of the G, Derek Vanderford. That man cannot keep himself out of matches. And the crowd absolutely despises him. Absolutely despises him. Oh, that's so good. By the way, I don't advertise what I'm drinking because they don't pay me. If they wanted to pay me, I'd tell you what it is. But you could probably guess by the bottles you saw. Anyway, that match was everything I wanted and then some, because you got two powerhouse guys who both can work, not just on the beatdown level, but they can actually grapple and go with you too. And that's where the difference is made, especially when it comes to companies in the independent scene. You kind of got your choice here. You've got multiple choices here. You've got your average indie show, which is going to have average talent trying to improve and trying to do great things. That's your regular run-of-the-mill show. You've got shows like Pro Wrestling Union, where you see some of the best wrestling bell to bell that you're going to see. And then you have your shows like Palmetto, where it's really intense and it's really crowd involved, and it feels like, an AEW production, just on a smaller scale. I like it all because I've always found something to enjoy on everything. But either way, when you want to see great work, I mean, you've got your places you can go, you've got your places you can pay to watch. Everything's entertaining to somebody. Is deathmatch your style? There's a shitload of places in other states, not this one, that provide that, because this state has an athletic commission that doesn't allow blood, even if it's a damn accident, because they're jackoffs. And it is what it is. And you got to pay for a license and all this other shit. It's ridiculous to me that the workers got to pay for a license when they've already got to go out there and work their ass off. Each individual show has to have its own independent license, plus insurance and all this other madness. Ring announcers, managers, all these people have got to pay a yearly rate to have a license. And none of this shit's cheap, ladies and gentlemen. For anybody that doesn't know, none of it's cheap. But in regards to the way it goes, the Athletics Commission, as far as I've ever dealt with, has been fine for me, but not everybody's, into it. I'm not into it either, because I think it's just a wasted tax dollar. Oh, why? What's the point of the commission? Is kind of my thought. I don't know, so therefore I don't understand. Um, and if anybody has any ideas about it, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and show this one. It's a money gimmick. I'm not arguing that, KC, not at all, man, because I feel like all they want is to get their cut, and that's it. But why do they need their cut? What are they providing as a service to the general public or the wrestling community and society? Because I don't know what they're providing, so therefore I can't really get into that. But I don't see what protection they have. Hey, what's up, man? All I can see is that it's the real wrestling community. I can't see who's posting, but what's up, whoever you are? You could drop your screen name or anything there. Um, they are not providing anything, or they are not a money grab. She says not a damn thing, and he says not that. Man, whoever's watching from TRWC, thank you for tuning in. Just let me know who you are, because I appreciate you. And, I'm grateful yet again for the platform that I have with them. I love working with all them people, man. They're so much fun. Everybody's so freaking cool. And we all have different contrasts and ideas. And that's why the website, the Facebook page works, because you get something for everybody, which is what you get at great wrestling shows, which is what everybody got last night. Man, last night, look at this. I'm gonna grab the poster, because I got it sitting over here on this side table. I'm gonna show you all this poster. I'm gonna have to lean back, but that's the Wrestling Classic. Colby freaking Carino, Chase Emery. Okay, you had Tim was not there. Unfortunately, he was hurt. We had John Schuyler, Impact Wrestling's own John Schuyler was there. And as I said, man, I met him earlier. Great dude. I hope to God he sees this on Twitter. I'm going to tag him, because I want him to know, just how much I appreciated, the ability to meet and say hello to him. And same with Colby Carino. I've got to find him another way to find him. But just phenomenal people to meet. He was so freaking cool to my kid. Like, it was just a great, great show. I was truly invested in the classic. I'm hanging my poster of the event soon. Dude, I don't know what to do with these things, because I don't like hanging stuff on my walls. So I really don't know what to do. The only stuff I put on my walls is soundproofing, or paint, or drywall, or wood, or a screen. I don't really do putting stuff on walls. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm anti-clutter. This room is already cluttered enough to me, but that's just how I'm wired, man. I don't even like furniture, because that means it's something else I got to move to clean around. But man, as far as it went last night, like I said, Antonio Morgan and the Outlaw Randy Wayne, two big brutal guys, and they beat the living crap out of each other. And as what was weird was, like, you kind of knew the G was going to be involved, and you could see how it was going. What was weird to me was the save was made, right? The save was made after the match, after Antonio had screwed him over and won the match. They were all in there ganging up on Randy Wayne. But then all of a sudden you get Austin, or you get Bebop, and you get Jamal Hewins, Mr. Nice Guy out there, and they're out there for the save. Now Jamal is in the next match. Why are you gonna? If it's me, I'm not gonna risk hurting myself before my match. But that's me. We were having a conversation, and to Peterbilt and Matt Odom, if y'all hear the commentary, understand I was pretty tired already by the time I got there, and I was just trying to have some fun talking trash with my buddy Timmy. Timothy Godfrey, he's a hell of a referee down here. And we were sitting there talking and watching how Kylan Disney, who's a great referee, and Joshua Williams, who's another good referee down here in the South. We were watching these guys move, and he's like breaking down the intricacies of ref to me, and I'm like, I'm just a ring announcer. I don't understand this shit. I can understand some of the stuff in the ring because it makes sense because I've been watching it since I was born. But man, we had so much fun talking smack during the Peterbilt and Matt Odom match, dude. And those two guys, I am so grateful to meet both of them. They were excellent people. Got there early, stayed there late. Just super cool individuals. I can't thank the Pro Wrestling Union team, family, whatever you want to call it, enough. And I'm going to get into more of that as we go through it. But the next match up on the card, man, was Mr. Nice Guy Jamal Hewins defeated Ponyboy Brino Royce. I'm going to tell y'all what. I've seen Ponyboy 3, 4, 5 times in person. Okay? Working in person. I've seen videos of him because they have been sent my way because some people view me as a person who knows things, knows people, and can direct the right courses. We'll call it good there, okay? What I saw out of them two young men, I was grateful to be there to experience it because I saw Brino Royce work his absolute ass off. I saw Jamal Hewins work his ass off. And by no means, in no way, shape, or form, can I take anything away from either one of them. I had two wrestlers that weren't on the show. I had two wrestlers standing behind me because I'm running the audio sound booth, whatever. And I had Godfrey, the ref, sitting next to me. We were all just sitting back there hanging out. I'm doing the sound stuff and they're talking amongst themselves or to me or whatever. When Brino Royce hits the headbutt on Jamal and that thud echoes throughout the arena, oh my God, them dudes thought it was legit. And I'm like, the kid's good, ain't he? Now, I'm going to take you to another place real quick because that match was just 10, 12 minutes of ground and pound. It was more tech ring work than it was anything, and that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good stuff. When you can sit there and enjoy a technical wrestling match, it was like watching Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart. Stuff like that. I didn't like Bob Backlund, but I respected what he did. That's another statement. Might not like you, but I respect you is another thing that will come up later on in this show. I'm not sure how long we're going today. I'm half tired, half dead, half asleep, and I'm on my way. But anyway, when it boils down to it, that match between them two, 10 to 12 minutes of just solid in-ring work. And by the end of it, somebody was like, man, they look gassed. They weren't gassed. They weren't gassed at all. You know what that was? That was the art of professional wrestling in a match. By the end of it, because those two young men, very young men, early 20s, right? They worked that hard that whole match. It gave the illusion that they were gassed. They told a story, and they told a great story. Now, words that came while I was sitting back there that I cannot disclose who or what or whatever they came from. What I saw, I loved it. Holy crap, can he work? Holy crap, can they work? Huh. Who would have thought it, right? Who would have thought that? And then KC chimed in. Yeah, that was also a great match. Wonderful match. Reno and Jamal, great technical and chain wrestling match for sure. Exactly what I'm saying. Anybody sleeping on either of those kids, you are making a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Later on in the night, I am going to do this now. Later on in the night, I looked over and I saw Cam Jackson, who, if anybody knows anything about wrestling in the South, Cam Jackson's a pretty big damn deal down here. I think very highly of Cam. We've spoken a couple times. I've introduced him a couple of times. He was the CPW champion when that was still around. And he's just a good dude, and he's a good worker. And he cuts some of the best promos because he's so damn funny and quick-witted. I really do not think that the guy gets enough credit for how good he is either. But I happened to peer over, and I noticed Cam sitting there with both of them after their match talking about it. And you could see the wheels turning on both of them. They were both absorbing what he was saying. Guys and ladies out there, anybody interested in professional wrestling, when you have an individual like that investing their time in you, you know you're on the right path, but you need to absorb it. And in their case, I know that they did, because I know that about both of them. I know it about them personally. I've spoken to both of them personally at length, at nauseum. I have talked to these guys. Brino calls me randomly throughout the week. I talk to Brino at just random points in time. And sometimes it's about wrestling. Sometimes he'll want to talk philosophy or politics or whatever. And, I give him my level. He gives me his level. We compare. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to change the friendship that I have and that I've got with some of these guys. And that includes Brino with anything. That's just how it goes. When you develop a relationship with somebody and you talk to them constantly, you learn each other. And that's how people grow as a community, as a nation, as whatever you want to look at it as. Christopher Burton, hey brother, I know you're listening. My prayers are with y'all, everybody. I hope y'all all say a prayer for Chris and his family. We love you, buddy. And dude, my wife was upset. Like, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. She was real upset when she heard and when she read. Like, she was, oh no. And just my heart goes out to you, bro. Randy, what happened to CPW was Mr. Buck Carter is the owner and promoter of CPW. And a while back we had the benefit from Buckshot. May of last year, as a matter of fact, he had a massive stroke, and it tore him up pretty bad. And I wouldn't want any misconceptions here. He's doing great. I saw him last night. He looked good. He looked healthy. He's able to talk, move, walk, drive, all that good stuff. He can do it all. He's still the man. Buck is still the legend. Okay, he's still the legend. And Mr. Carter and I were outside and smoking whatever and watching my daughter run around and play on the playground out there. And he just looked at me and started laughing like, "Boy, you got your hands full." I'm like, "Man, I know," but with his health ailments, man, it's not worth trying to run a show and do all this extra shit. There's a lot involved in running a show. The show last night ended at 10. I was just helping break stuff down because I didn't get there until 5 something, because I had to work a regular, a regular job like I have, and I stayed late to help break it down, and you know I just wanted to try to do my part. Um, but that's what happened to CPW is he's the health issues and stuff is not worth the extra stress on your brain and body to try to do some shit like this because it's intense. I look at dude, Cole McAbee looked like he had been in a freaking car wreck when I seen him last night right before I left. And but kudos to Cole's wife, Bailey. I've never, I don't think I've ever spoke to Bailey directly. I may have said a word or two to her last night, but I've never formally met Bailey. I don't think I don't know. I have shit for memory, but anyway, and she was his biggest supporter, and that structure of behind every great man is a great woman. Well, that great woman was holding his ass up last night. I'm gonna tell you that. And hey, you love to see it, man. You love to see it. Um, so there's a lot involved in wrestling shows that people don't realize. They think it's you just hire everybody. Who the hell got that kind of money? Not everybody got that kind of money, man. They can't all roll like that. Um, I hit the lottery and I'll run a show. We'll figure it out then. Telling a story is what wrestling's about. When every move is meaningful and not just trying to be flashy, that is perfection. Tina, I agree entirely. And one of these days, I'm just going to have to make sure I'm in a place where I can work a show and I can make sure you're there and, we can figure something out or cut a video together for the whole, for the wrestling community or, pump up the podcast and all that. Speaking of pumping up the podcast, you got coming up April the 5th, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing the Round Table Rumble. It is going to be a clash of personalities because here's the names involved. And I don't know who's showing up yet, but the names involved is already high enough. You got Tom Clark from Tom Clark's Main Event. You've got Chris Burton and Harry Bernard Taylor from the Straight Up Wrestling Show. You have Scott Larson from #Truth. You've got Gary Horn from This Is NWA Pod. You've got Tina Miller and Sarah Hirsch from Peaches and Power Bombs. You've got Tina Miller also does another podcast with Luke Walsh from the UK. That's called The Tailgate Party. I have a bad feeling I'm forgetting somebody, and if I am, I apologize. But you've got all these different options of people. Myself included. There is me. Don't want you to forget about me. But all these people. We're going to be doing a Roundtable Rumble WrestleMania edition. So by the 5th, we'll have fully digested SmackDown, the Andre Battle Royal, the Hall of Fame, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, and the Raw after Mania. We'll have done all those, and everything will have processed, and we'll be able to put it all into a perspective. I really can't wait to see how that pans out with everybody. I love talking to Tom and Sarah and Tina. Sarah, by the way, I hope your brother's watching. I thought the combo of you and him together taking on Peaches and Power Bombs while, Tina, best of prayers to you as well. Getting better. I thought that contrast with brother and sister together talking shop was good stuff. I really enjoyed that. But I digress. I can't wait for April the 5th. Ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars because it's going to be a riot. I have a feeling we're going to have a great time that night. Next weekend is going to be ridiculous because it's WrestleMania weekend. Now, the insane part about WrestleMania is pre-shows start at 6. Main show starts at 8 and runs till 11, which is weird. So is anything going to happen on the pre-show? Is there any way that this is going to be 6 hours of content? I feel like it's going to be 10 to 12, but if they're dropping it down to 6, that's kind of goofy. But okay, I'll buy it. Sure, why not? I feel like there's way too much time there for them to just say the pay-per-view is only 6 hours long. I feel like there's way too much to be done in 6 hours. But we're going to try to digest 10 hours of it and put it into 2, or 10 to 20 hours of content and put it into 2 hours of a discussion. We're going to give it an overall vibe. Like, we felt this way about the show, or we felt that way about the show. And then we'll start breaking down, the big deal points. Did the celebrities live up to the hype? Did they bomb? Were the title matches where they needed to be? Was it worthless? Things of that nature. I'm just really looking forward to that show as well. But getting back to Pro Wrestling Union from last night, Peterbilt defeated Pretty Boy Matt Odom. And guys, I am not a cameraman. I'm not a cameraman. I'm a guy who sits there and, adjusts the volume levels, or I'm the guy who's in the ring announcing. Beyond that, I don't do too much at wrestling shows. Okay. I might sit there in the crowd, but beyond that, I don't do much of anything. It's just who I am. So one of them approached me, Peterbilt, matter of fact, approached me and said, "Hey man, can you do me a favor? I need this soon. Can you record it from back here?" Yeah, sure. No problem. So I recorded it and transferred it over to Dropbox this morning, and sent it on its way. And the guy will watch it when he gets a chance. And I apologize profusely for any profanity on that, but we were just having fun screwing around, talking shop, during the match. But we were trying to have fun and be a little bit of commentary and a little bit comedic value. But it was a fun match. The reality with these two guys is you're talking about two dudes who are roughly in the 6 foot tall range. You're talking roughly in the 250 to 280 pound weight class, and they are both jacked and stacked. Okay. These guys are built like brick houses. Okay. They are just dominating looking figures. Unreal. Okay. One of them used to be a bodybuilder, and the other one should have been. But either way, we're sitting back there watching them, and the pace that those two put out was blistering. And see, people, especially, and I had explained this to one of them when I was talking to him. He goes, "Oh, we weren't trying to go fast." I'm like, no. Because of how big you are and how athletic you are, the pace of you moving across the ring was just uncanny because of your size. It made you look superhuman because you're so big and you move so fast. But it made everything look crisp and clean and tight and snug. It was a wonderful match. I thoroughly enjoyed that match. I am not going to share the video without anybody's permission, especially because of the random shit we were talking there. So I'll leave that up to the wrestlers. You want to talk to the wrestlers or find out about it? Go check them out. Like I said, Matt Odom, it's Mattodam. Oh, damn. And then Peterbilt, spelt just like you think. Peter, space, built. Just like the truck, but with a space in there. But either way, I also, once again, I owe them a great thanks. They signed autographs for fans, including my kid, pictures with fans, including my kid. And it was just cool, man, how cool these guys were. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and show you. Just to give you an idea, man, jacked and stacked. That is Matt Odom. And when he stands next to me, I look like a freaking midget. I look like a dwarf. I look like a dwarf next to this guy. He is a monster of a man. He's a huge individual. Mr. Josh Williams, this, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this was one of the referees last night in Union. And as always, dude, it was a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine. Thank you for your efforts and your hard work in the show. Man, just everything last night. I can't see, allow me to put this into perspective. As a fan, I can't see anything that went wrong with the show. All right, let's see here. What I really loved about last night at Pro Wrestling Union, I counted myself 5 different promoters there watching. Really? That's a surprise to nobody. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows that if it's worth anything, there are certain people that are going to follow. And there's certain people that are going to go watch. KC, I'm not surprised at all. Hell, I met at least 1 or 2 of them. No, I'm sorry. You're saying yes, really. I was being sarcastic. Ma'am, I apologize. I really apologize. Sorry about that. I was being sarcastic. But once again, 2 big brutes in a brutal match, but they had the speed with the technical and power. That's the difference in matches, man. We got everything last night. Almost all the matches were sound, snug, technical. You got your brutality in some. You had your fun in some. But just ground and pound working. Working was last night's name of the game in my book. The Wrestling Classic, and it was all about classic wrestling. It was beautiful. I loved it. Now we got to add some stuff here. It says a lot when you have other promoters at your show. Harry Bernard Taylor, my friend, hey, you and I got to get together soon. I got somebody you got to meet. Because I had a man talking to me earlier today about boxing from 1918. 1918. 104 years ago, and this man's talking to me about this earlier today. And he knew some boxers. And I mentioned you. He said, man, that name sounds familiar. I showed him a picture of you. He recognized you. I may know somebody that you know from when you was a young man, Mr. Bernard Taylor. So we'll have to get together later on that. I swear to you, I'll have to introduce you to the man, and y'all can talk boxing. I'll just sit there and listen because I would love it. I promise you that I would love it. All right. We're going to get to that. Josh, we're going to get to that eventually. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, but I will get there eventually. For the vacant Pro Wrestling Union Heavyweight Championship, you had Chris Vallow and Tommy Django defeat Sweet Dreams and Dion Johnson, the Soul Patrol. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we were in Dion's hometown. A hometown favorite lost last night in his hometown. That's some Vince McMahon stuff right there. But, we're talking about Pro Wrestling Union. The better team won. The better team pulled it off. They got away with it because of the ref. The ref was distracted, and then the title smash into the face and the pin in the win, and it's over. The better team got the upper hand and took the win. And allow me to be perfectly clear. Tommy Django and Chris Vallow, we don't see eye to eye at all. We don't. And it's a known thing between us. We see each other and it's like, hey, what's up, asshole? Hey, what's up, dick? And that's it. We don't get along. We don't see eye to eye. The one thing I want to tell y'all boys is this, and I said it to you both in person last night, and I mean it. And I want you to understand that I mean it. That's why I'm saying it here, live in front of the hundreds or thousands of people that will view this in the next week. I don't have to like you to respect you. There's a large difference from that. And no matter what, you guys are doing some shit I could never do, and I could never dream to do. I could dream to do it all day, but I could never do this. And I respect you. You go out there, you give it your all, you perform. Vallow drives like 4 freaking hours to be in this area. It's stupid. He drives hours to get here just to perform for these people. That's drive and determination. Tommy, I don't know where the hell you live. I don't know where you come from. It is what it is. But you guys show up, show out, and you're contributing factors. I got nothing but respect for y'all. I might not like your heel tactics. I told Chris Vallow last night to his face, I said, there's 2 heels in this area that I hate more than anybody else. He said, God, I hope I'm one of them. I said, you're number 2. Actually, no, I said, you're one of them. I said, you're one of them. That's what I said to him. The other one's Donnie Ray. They are the 2 biggest heels in this area, in my opinion, is Donnie Ray and Chris Vallow. And I got nothing but respect for either one of them, but they're the best heels here. I don't know of any better heels. There's nobody I've ever seen piss off crowds more than they do, to the point where the crowds get atrocious and violent and shit, and cops get called and stuff, Chris. And then the bastard stuff that Donnie Ray does, it's like, he's got nuclear level heat, and the shit's gold to me. They're great at what they do, and I love it and respect it. I respect them for it. They don't have to comment on here. They don't have to like anything. They don't have to share this video. They don't have to do any of that shit. This is an open forum that I pay to do. I give no damn what anybody thinks, says, or does with my content. But I'm always going to tell you for real how I feel about things. But there was some rough spots during that tag team title match. The ref got smashed and all kinds of other stuff, and it was like, holy crap! It was just out there. Now, during the intermission show, they announced the next show coming up, and the next show that's coming up is called Mayhem. It's in May, where J.D. Drake, AEW's own J.D. Drake, is going to be performing for Pro Wrestling Union right here in South Carolina. That's going to be a badass show because it's the blue collar badass, and I can't wait to see the guy. I can't wait to see what he does. I hope to God somebody hands him a microphone, because I want to hear a promo from this guy, and he knows it. Like, he knows it on a personal level that I'm like, dude, I just want to hear you cut a good promo. I just want to hear you promo, because I don't get to hear that at AEW. So I want to hear a promo from him. I really do. Whether or not I get my wish, it's whatever. But that's going to be another can't miss show down here. Then after that, they got to talking about it. And there's a young man that works a lot locally. The company is called Blue Horse Media, and they do a phenomenal job of videotaping, editing, commentary. He's the total package. One-man show, and he is a one-man wrecking crew. He does it all. He is so talented. He's such a great guy. He's very intelligent. I love just talking to the guy. And we didn't see eye to eye at all in the beginning. Like, he thought I was a psychopath, and I thought he was a prick. But beyond that, once we understood each other, it's like, oh, dude, yeah, we're good. This is great. Luke Adams, brother, I love you. I love what you did. Congratulations on your new job. I know you're going to kick ass working for Fox. I don't need to go into any more detail than that, but I think really highly of you. I couldn't be happier for you. And yeah, man, I'll see you down the road, brother. So the reason I brought that up was Cole presented him an award, for being that guy and doing all that work for us. And he deserved it. He deserved the award. It was a great thing that Cole did. And you could tell there was some emotion there, and it was great. It was great to see, because the thing about wrestling is it's meant to be an escape from your reality, is for us to see as fans and as viewers to enjoy the show and escape the mundane, monotonous bullshit that is real life, right? But when those lines get blurred, man, when the lines get blurred and you can see and feel things differently, it's just, you're gone in a whole nother world. It's wonderful, and I loved the moment. It was a great moment. And it was caught on camera because the camera guy passed the camera to the ring announcer, Mr. Matty G, and Matty G filmed the whole thing. I hope he did good with getting it filmed and, held steady and all that goodness. But at any rate, going on into the next match, for the Carolinas Championship, the top dog of the industry, Bebop, defeated the Southern Savior, Impact Wrestling's own John Schuyler. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing. Them two put on a freaking clinic. It was a burner. They tore the house down. The house was already in shambles anyway from the first 3 matches. Okay? It was already, or 4 matches, I apologize. I can't count. 4 matches, the house was already in shambles. They tore it the rest of the way down. The bad part about the main event was there was no house left to destroy in the main event. But they did a great job too. Everybody did an awesome job last night. Seeing John Schuyler in person work, including getting vocal with the crowd and interacting with them to piss them off and edge them on and egg his opponent into not making mistakes, but getting lapsadaisical even, moving without intent, moving without purpose, or possibly wasted motion. I was bought and sold way early into that match that this was just going to be a clinic. And the longer it went, the more enamored I was because I'm running sound. So I'm sitting there like, is it time to push the, oh shit, not yet. Is it time to push the button? Nope. No, you can't push the button yet. Gotta wait. And the same go because Timmy ended up doing the ring bell. So Timothy's over here holding a ring bell or a hammer. He's like, I can't hit it yet. It's not done. We couldn't tell. We thought every finish was just so damn close. It was great. I loved it. Just such a wonderful match. Both of those guys performed to the top of their game. And if you didn't know that they were stars, you were sold on them now. And that's all that matters. For the Pro Wrestling Union Heavyweight Championship, the All-American Blue Chipper Chase Emery defeated Colby Corino. Yet again, the outside interference from the G, Derek Vanderford, came into play. This guy must want a wrestling license again because he can't seem to stay out of the ring and getting involved in shit. But realistically, it was just one of those things where I couldn't tell who was going to win. You couldn't tell it. Even in the crowd, you couldn't tell. They had no idea that, Chase would retain against Colby Corino. I couldn't believe. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, Colby Corino, the NWA Super Junior tournament, and, he's been on NWA. He's been all over the world. And you've got this guy going up against a local independent star. Where's the gray area here? Because it's like the contrast between the two is so great. They're both on 2 different platforms and 2 different, stages in their career. For him to get the upper hand the way he did and win, Chase is just that bad guy, and he happened to get the upper hand. He did a great thing. It was a great show, great match. Now, fast forward, we're going to go into after the show. After the show, or after the main event match, all of a sudden, Randy Wayne came back out. And he had his cowbell and rope in hand, and he's bringing it, and he gets a microphone. And he says, hey, y'all want to play screw around? I got the answer for you. He challenged, and half the crowd had left by this point, which was the crazy thing. Everybody knows you don't leave a wrestling show once the final bell's done. You hang around an extra 10, 15 minutes, make sure ain't no extra good stuff coming there. You guys sit in the theaters for a half hour and watch all the credits after Spider-Man just to see a 2-second clip. But you ain't going to do that at a live show when you know there's an encore? Come on, man. Come on, man. Jay-Z said it the best. Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Because there's always one. You never leave the wrestling show early because you never know what's going to happen next. You got to hang around till the ring start getting broke down. Then you can get your butt up out the arena. When the seats start getting picked up and the brooms come out, it's then time to vamoose. Okay? But when there's the ring and microphone and people still alive, man, you need to hang tight just a few minutes. Or until somebody announces you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here, you want to hang out until that point. All right? Yeah, he was pissed. But that's Randy, dude. I think that's just Randy. Randy always looks angry, but he's like, he's a Marine. He's a Marine. How else is he supposed to look? I got no other way to put it than that. The dude's a Marine. How else is he supposed to look? He's always gonna look pissed off. I mean, that's just how I know. And I think that's one of the things. Like, I always make sure, I always thank my veterans, and I always try to be sure I let people know, hey man, look, you did your job. You did your job. It doesn't matter whether anybody agrees with it or not. You were told to do what you had to do when you had to do because you was told to do. And so I always try to be sure I thank my veterans and show them the proper appreciation that they deserve because they earned it. And Randy Wayne, people can fuss and bitch and complain about the guy all they want. He's a jam up guy. And the amount of charity stuff that they do up the road in Silva, North Carolina, Randy will talk about Silva later on in April if we don't talk before then. But we'll talk in April for sure. The amount of stuff that they do for the community up there and first responders, veterans, all that, man, look, that's what life is, man. I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford to do things when I want to go do something. If I want to do something for somebody, I can just do what I want. I'm in that level where I can do as I please. And I greatly appreciate that. I'm grateful for that. And when it comes to people like doing stuff for, others are less fortunate, man, if I can be there to help, I'm more than willing to be there to help. KC says, known him for a long time, so also guy, ma'am, I agree entirely. I think real highly of Randy Wayne. But I think real highly of everybody. After the show, like I said, my daughter was out there with her book. She's got this book. And I'm not going to tell you who the author is because he's a douchebag. That should be enough of a clue for you. I got no use for who the book was written by, but she got the book in a gift bag from Mr. George South. So, you gotta, it's from George South. You got to be okay with it because it's from George, but it ain't his book. But anyway, she gets all the wrestlers to sign it. I've got to be grateful, man. Colby Carino, stopping, signing my book, and he let me take a picture of him with my daughter. Peterbilt, Matt Odom, and those guys shared it to their pages that they were like, we got, I got this new fan. Look at my fan, and I'm just like, God, man, wrestling is awesome. And for people that don't get it, you just don't get it. For people that have never been to a live show or just think wrestling's stupid, you don't get it. That's the kicker of it. You can watch a soap opera and you can watch a movie and you can watch the news, which is all a bunch of fake shit, but you can't watch wrestling. You can watch reality TV, but you can't watch wrestling. Wrestling is reality TV. It's as real as anything else I've seen out there. Hell, wrestling's real life is fake. I've met more fake ass people in the real world than I ever have in the wrestling world. And that's the truth. It blows my mind how people are just like, oh, it's a dirty thing. It's just dirty. It ain't dirty. You just don't know what you're missing. You don't understand it. I think that realistically, wrestling in its own right it has this ability to be for every class of every type of person, because whether you're some podunk mofo in the middle of nowhere where you hear the banjos from Deliverance, or you're in the city amongst the Fortune 500, somebody in there likes this shit. There's a reason why, because it's applicable to everybody. Everybody can always find something they enjoy. And the people who don't, they're not smart enough to comprehend it. Man, that comment. Cheers. It'll always be a part of me because of, growing up. My brother Joe Mike and my brother Richie, my sister, and everything else. And everybody used to always make sure I got the tapes, because we didn't even have cable when I was a little kid. So they would make sure I got the tapes, or to go to this one bar room that got the pay-per-views. And that guy would make sure I got the tapes because he knew I loved wrestling as a kid. My sister reaching out and touching Hulk Hogan's arm or some shit in Washington, D.C. when my mom was pregnant with me. I was still in the womb, but I was apparently at a Hulk Hogan thing. I was, what they call that, a fetus, I guess. But it's been a part of me as long as I can remember. And the cool thing is, like, my daughter loves it. And I love taking my kid to these shows. And every now and then I'll be like, hey man, can you just do me a favor? Will you take a picture with her? Because she loves it. And I love that she loves it. And most of the guys, I don't even have to say anything to them. Most of the guys are like, oh, hey, I know you brought your kid. Where's she at? I got to go mess with her. I got to go tease her. I got to go talk to her. They adore the fans. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think people around the world understand how much wrestlers really do love their fans. And the bigger they are, the better they are, the more they seem to do. And I love it. I absolutely love it. You think big bad heel, and they're not gonna stop. And man, when a little kid comes up to him with a pen and a book like this, it's you're gonna do it. And y'all can call that the death of kayfabe if you like. I don't freaking care. I really don't. As far as kayfabe goes, Vince killed that shit in the 80s and 90s. But realistically, it wasn't even him that killed it all the way, because everybody complaining about kayfabe now follows all these dirt sheets and then is like, oh, but kayfabe, you follow the rumor mill. You can't bitch for one and then bitch about the other. That's like, you can't say, oh, I hate bald heads and shave your head with a razor blade. It doesn't work both ways. You can't have it both ways. There is no gray area, folks. And that's just the truth. Man, and look, Timmy Godfrey spoke up. Yeah, he ain't lying. I kept wanting to ring it early. Dude, we both did, because it was just, we couldn't tell what the finish was. We couldn't see it. And we worked there. We freaking worked there. Look, Pro Wrestling Union, the shirt. I was working and I didn't know what the hell was going on. That's when you know it's good. When you're in there that deep and you can't tell still, it's awesome. It was so great, man. It was so great. I thoroughly enjoyed the way that things go. I thoroughly enjoyed the way the show went. That crowd, I don't know how big that crowd was. I don't have the numbers. I don't look at the door. I didn't see the full crowd because the only time I came out from behind the curtain was in intermission and people were already migrating outside or to the merch tables. And I couldn't see them no way. I don't care how many people were there. There could have been 3 times that amount there, and they would have all felt the same way as I did. I don't know how to get shows any bigger than that, or any better than that, to be any bigger than that. Like, you're in a level of stuff that I don't know anything about, guys. And it was so good. It was so good. KC talking about kayfabe. Yep, that shit went out the window a long time ago. Man, I know. But you got these people who are like, oh, you got to keep kayfabe. But oh, did you read on the dirt sheet where douchebag Dave said whatever the hell ever, and how's your father and whatever? You can't have it both ways, guys. I've tried. I've tried, folks. I've tried. Hmm. Oh damn! I didn't realize y'all could probably read that cup. Oh well. Anyway, once again, phenomenal show. I wish I had some people who were willing to jump on the show and chat about it, but it's all good. Just know I appreciate everybody that was on there, and I appreciate everybody that was commenting. And man, look, I know, and it wasn't just in that match; it was in multiple matches. We couldn't tell where the hell, where it ended and where it began. We knew where it started, but we didn't know where it finished, and that's the fun part about being there. When you're working a show and you got the card in front of you, you know. But when you put the paper down and you're just sitting there, it's hard not to become a fan. You you can't do it. Oh shit. Give me a moment and I will hop on. I'm going to go ahead and send that message, my friend. Whenever you get ready, you accept it, okay? I'll put it that way. There you go. My brother, invite is sent. I can't speak highly enough. I hear King Enterprises says in the house. They should have been in the house. I tagged them in the post. If they're just now in the house, they're an hour late. And Michael King is leaving this area for the next year better. Oh, just got to park. Jesus, Cole. All right, bro. Whenever you get ready, man. I know you're in rough shape because, dude, I can't imagine. I don't want to know. I'm good. But Michael King is leaving this area for the next year and a half or so, and I met Michael a little over, right around a year ago, something like that. I can't. I have a shit memory, so I can't remember. Maybe it's been 6-8 months. But the long and the short of it with him is this. I was able to speak with him on different levels, not just about, wrestling and what we're doing here, but it was because we both realized about each other that there's more there than just wrestling. He's not just an announcer. He's not just a manager. He's not just, here for a paycheck. He's not just here to hype the crowd up. And there's been many lengthy conversations between Michael and I, whether it be about, yet again, politics, because yet again another veteran in Michael King, and whether it was about politics, government, military stuff. And I used to work for the DoD. For those of you who don't know what an acronym is, that's the Department of Defense, our U.S. military. I used to work for them, and or whether it was about life, philosophy, whatever. I business. The guy's a smart guy, and you don't get smart by talking to people on a lower scale than you, other than to understand, well, I don't want to do that. You get better and you get smarter by talking to people of higher intelligence level and working around people with higher intelligence level who've been successful. And that's one of the big things I think about, like with Cole and Pro Wrestling Union and things like that. They had TV stars on an independent show. The amount of knowledge that was sitting in that dressing room, plus, guys that have been wrestling for 30 years, plus guys that, have been in business for 20 and 40 years, Bill Hazelwood was in the house last night, and the Soul Patrol, like I said, they were there, and Colby Carino, John Schuyler, just so many people were there who have been in this industry for decades. You had hundreds of years of experience in that locker room. If you didn't learn a damn thing last night, it's your own fault, and you're responsible for being an idiot. That's plain and simple. There's no other way to put it than that. Michael King just spoke. He said, someone's paying attention. Mr. Ward is fortunate to have you in his corner. And Casey said, she always will be. Look, my name Bennett, I ain't in it. I'm not in that conversation because I'm just not there. I'm not in that conversation, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not getting into it. Shit. Anyway, as far as the show went last night, I can't say enough about it because that is the type of stuff that the NWA is built on. That match caliber and that match quality is what the NWA is built on. That's what professional wrestling is built on, is that standard right there. Now you got your entertainment values in other areas. You've got your pyros and your promos, and you've got your pyro and ballyhoo as dickhead Vince Russo likes to say. You've got Gaga, as Austin likes to say. You've got all these different variables, and there's just so many things there. Cole, I know you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready for me to transition to you, but it appears as though, okay. What is up, boss?
Not much. I just pulled into the driveway, so.
Oh, there you go. Dude, you look like a train wreck.
I kind of feel like a train wreck, and I wasn't even in the ring. I was in the ring, but I wasn't, like, say, beaten up, slammed around, anything like that in the ring. But basically, yesterday from about 9 o'clock in the morning all the way till about 1 o'clock the very next day. But, that's part of the business sometimes.
It is. Man, I get it. I was up at 5:30 to get showered and shaved and everything before I went to work. And then after work, I had a hell of a commute to get down there to you. So, I fully understand that. And also, I want to thank you again for allowing for inviting Scott and his daughter and my family to come along and enjoy the show while I was working. I appreciate that greatly.
Hey, man, that is no problem. My pleasure, because I've been trying to get Scott down there for a while now, and he's finally had a chance to do so.
Well, hey, look, and it was my honor to take care of that. Okay, it really was. It sucks. We weren't real interested in going to the restaurant everybody else went to because of I wouldn't have made it out of the county before I needed another bathroom. So I was like, I'm not going there.
Oh, you didn't go to Poblano with everybody else?
No, I did not. I went to Waffle House.
And you were worried about going to the bathroom?
I've been to both before, and I have better luck at Waffle House than I do Poblano's. I've been there.
Okay.
I used to eat there when I worked in Union. I used to work in Union. I knew that area we were at very well. That's why I was like really happy where I parked, and I knew to lock my car and all that good stuff. I knew where I was, brother.
Now, I was going to say, I didn't realize that you worked in Union at all. That has never been brought up, so.
No. All right. So if you're coming from like Main Street side and you hook that right, and then you got to make the second right to go to Thomas Street, that corner, that house on the corner, I've wired that bastard 3 times. They kept frying shit. They kept frying stuff up, man. So I got to add this comment in because it was funny. We didn't have no effing luck at Waffle House. F Waffle House. All right. What happened was people called out at Waffle House so they didn't have another cook to keep going. The cook that was there got there at like 3 o'clock that afternoon. He was dead by the time we got there. Like he was beat to piss by the time we got there after 11. So by the time KC and them got in there, because it was like Casey and Jimmy and Timmy and that whole crew, Gavin and all of them was there. They walked in and the chairs were blocking their path to get to us. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, they just left the rest of the show with us. Can you let them in? And they were like, dude, we really can't. Like, we really can't. This guy's got to go home. We need to shut down now. So
I hate that happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jimmy, that happened to you guys.
It is what it is. That's the problem. I think that's the only negative of working a show in a small town is there's not much choices for grub afterwards.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, I know everybody after the show, they were like asking me, hey man, you're gonna come have a beer or you're gonna come eat some food with us. I'm like, I'm the promoter. I don't really get that opportunity anymore. I don't. So, right. You know, because I mean, everybody that stays and helps tear down everything like that, get stuff loaded back on the trailer, everything gets put back in totes and everything like that, and that's all great and it's always appreciated. And I don't want anybody to think that it's not. But also at the end of the night, after like chairs and tables and everything like that's been pulled, the place has got to be swept up. It's got to be mopped. You know, we got to leave it as clean as we found it in.
Right.
That's important because the people that run that rec center, part of the Union County Recreation Board in the sporting complex for Timken, they've been treating us right. They treated us fairly well on the first show back in August. They wanted us to come back, but then we made that transition over to Unit Fire Department for 2 shows. So when I was inquiring about coming back, Kevin Shropshire, that's the guy's name. He's the director over the recs and everything like that for Union County. He was on board with it. He was happy to help me out with that stuff. He really appreciated the way that we took care of the building the first time we used it back in August of last year, because he's told me any other time that people would just come in, whether just play basketball or whatnot, they trash that place. And, you know, and I mean, in all honesty, I mean, besides the location, once you get inside that building, the building's great.
Oh, it's awesome. I loved it. I thought the venue was great. And it was the acoustic value of that building was gold, man. Yeah. I love the acoustic value.
You get the benefit. You get the benefits of a gym and everything, like the gymnasium setting. But it's just not as large as most other gymnasiums. So, you know, so it's a little bit more tight. So you still get that intimate feel still, even though you're in a little bit of a larger building. And that was one of the appeals for me.
Right. Now, I don't know, and I said this earlier, I don't know if you're listening the whole time or not, but I want to make sure I say this. A couple of things I'm going to repeat. Sorry, guys, for anybody that has been tuning in all day. Number one, I don't know how big it was, how many people came into the crowd, but there should have been 3 to 5 times as many for as good as that show was. That's the truth.
Well, I mean, here's where I'm gonna say. The last show that I ran back in November, you were there. It was a good card, good look. You know, it was over there at the Union Fire Department. We barely made 40. You know, and some people they like to jack their numbers up and everything like that. No, I'm not going to be that promoter that does wrestling math where it's like, oh, 150 equals 300, you know, that sort of thing. No, I can tell you just from counting heads, we had about just shy of 150. But as far as as far as ticket sales, we were right there at 100. But everybody else, you know, they had kids that were, you know, under the age of 12. We didn't tear tickets for that.
Right.
You know, But when I had an opportunity to just go around just counting heads, we were within that ballpark. So,
Okay.
but as far as people who paid to get into the show, that was right there at about 100. But like I said, you give people the option of where they can bring guests for free, kids 12 and under. And I mean, people have got kids that love wrestling, and this helps put a little bit more money in the pocket, because I know the original thing we did, it was 10 and under.
Right.
And sometimes people feel like it's like, ah, man, my child just missed it, and all that other stuff. And I'm like, well, as long as they're not a teenager, we'll go ahead and do that for this show. And it worked. A lot of people said that they really appreciated that. They came up and thanked me for that.
Right. Well, I mean,
Times are hard, guys, and I know that.
they are, man. I filled up my truck yesterday morning. Number one, I have not put gas in my truck personally. I haven't filled it up in over a month because I'm not driving it every day anymore. Thank God. The thing stopped at $100 and it wasn't filled. I was like, okay, that's shit, but whatever. And gas is not cheap, and that's one thing.
Everything is not cheap right now.
Dude,
Groceries have gone up, and even the price of entertainment has gone up. Movie tickets. Before COVID, you could still get movie tickets for at least $12, and that's not a matinee show. That was like every other time you could get it for $12. We went to go see The Batman. And the first time I saw it was during a matinee, and it was me and my son Cage, and I still paid $30 for me and him.
Damn.
And that was before popcorn and a drink. That went up to 80.
Now, my wife and I were talking about going to catch that on Friday night the other day, a couple days ago. Unfortunately, she had a migraine, which was also the reason she wasn't coming last night. That was the primary reason she didn't come last night, was because she had a migraine all freaking week. I mean, missed work all week and everything.
Oh, so, I completely understand.
Yeah. This head. Yeah, I understand. I understand migraines, my friend. Yeah, I got you. Oh, yeah. And I was like, if you're up to it, sure, we can go do that. I said, but if you're not up to the wrestling show, don't stress. I just need to know if you're going to go or not, because if so, I'll just have you follow me or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was going to make sure I wanted to drive the truck to have, a good amount of room and a nice, comfortable ride. Right. My truck, honestly, is a very comfortable ride for being a 4-wheel drive pickup. It beats the hell out of my little white car. I'll put it that way. That thing beats the shit out of me, and I can't stand it. But it's great on gas, so you deal with it.
Yeah.
What's gonna hurt worse, your back or your wallet? You got a choice. But
I don't know. Both of them. Both of them. Sometimes.
But either way, dude. Last night, the other thing I saw at that show, and like I said, I don't think I've ever spoke to your wife. Or been introduced. I don't know if I have. I can't remember. You know me. I don't recall. Kind of like, oh, no, I can't use that joke here. I can't use that joke. Kind of like Ford. I don't recall. I can't use that joke anymore, and I can't use it here. But anyway, to see her, and this is, a half hour after show, 45 minutes after show, she's right there behind you, trying to help, trying to move the. Great. It is wonderful to see somebody supporting somebody like that, and dude, that's great. I think that's one of the most wonderful things I've ever seen. I love that moment.
Long story short, Bailey, who is a very, very wonderful woman, I'm very lucky to have her. She is not a wrestling fan whatsoever. Her first time going to a professional wrestling show, I ended up bleeding like all over the place. Very horrific for her. And then just some other things is that she like she came along after I had like some of my major injuries, but yet I was still working and everything like that. So there'd be those times that she would just see me come home like the day after and stuff like that, and she'd be like, "Hey, you want to go do something?" While we were dating, and I'm like, "I'm not in the mood. I just want to sit in a hot bath and soak, pop a few Tylenol, and just
Right.
and don't move." So, but she had asked me for years, "Why do you do that to yourself?" And stuff like that. And I told her, I said, no explanation will ever do. There's no way I can explain it to you unless you've been there. Um, so when I got out of the business for a little while, and I quit it cold turkey completely. Um, she was happy about it, but she also knew that I was kind of like miserable, like
Right.
not involved. I wasn't even really keeping up with it as much. And then I started paying attention to like the local scene, and like I got irritated seeing the things that I was seeing, and then I was like, I got to get back in it somehow. And she was like, on several conditions. She's like, one, you got to be able to pass a physical, and you can't lie to your doctors about your injuries and the surgeries. Okay. Number two, you got to have health insurance. And number three, can't be asking off days for work. Well, I got a setup where I had all three of those things set up, passed a physical, got good insurance. And then after that, she was like, now I wished I never would have made that deal with you.
Right.
But it got to the point where even I knew, you know how sometimes like you feel like, hey, I used to could do something, and then you go and do it again. You just kind of pick yourself up and you go, damn, I can't do that anymore.
I
That's what
have
happened with me.
I have a bad feeling that I'm about to experience that with my son.
Yeah.
My son has shown a recent interest in skateboarding, and
Oh, that's
and
one too.
back in the day, okay, 20 years ago, I I'm not going to say I was good, but I was known.
Yeah.
In the local, especially because we would take my whole crew, my whole team. Um, we would take the time to hang out with the kids at the park who weren't being given the opportunity. We
Yeah.
would hang out with them and kind of work with them.
Right.
We would teach them, the basics, how to drop in, how to stand. Hey man, don't stand straight legged. You're gonna hurt yourself. And we would do that, and the community loved us. The county recreation department in Maryland even was like, "Oh, hey, do you guys want to run events here? Sure, why not? We'll throw parties." And what we used to do was throw parties. I DJ. We charge admission to the party, and skateboarding was permitted at the park. But it was like we hosted the event out of our team. A bunch of nobodies hosting an event, kind of like uh, I'm not saying like a wrestling show because Jesus Christ, these guys in my book are famous. These are stars. Your show last night was, as I said earlier, NWA level matches and television and pay-per-view worthy content.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not the only person that said, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you know me. You
Yeah.
know I won't do that.
No, I know that.
I don't give a shit if I am wearing your shirt. I'm telling you the truth because I'm not the only person that's saying it. Look at this. The show was awesome, Cole. That's coming from Tim, a referee, and who was just sitting back there, who showed up to help. What?
Yeah.
He just showed up to help.
Yeah.
The guy was there to show
Yeah,
love and support. He's a great.
And you know what the thing is? I honestly, because I know Bailey asked me how do I feel about last night, and I just told her, I said, just from the visual, from what I was able to see, as far as the people that were able to come in, and the very few people that grabbed me and all that other stuff, I was like, everything seemed to be going really good. I mean, But here was the thing, though. There's also a locker room full of guys that were like grabbing me. Hey, man, did you get to see this? Hey, man, what'd you think of this? And I'm like, I don't know, because You saw what happened with me last night. I got pulled in every direction, and I barely had time to stop to think. So
All right. So that's where I'm going to offer to help you more if you need it.
yeah,
Okay.
but
I don't know what more I can do for you because I was getting distracted by people when I was trying to run sound, but it's
yeah,
okay. It is what it is. And I missed a couple cues or whatever. And not only that, brand new program, brand new machine. It's going to take time to learn.
yeah.
It is what.
Well, yeah.
But
And normally it takes one or two times to work out the kinks. You know this from the first couple of shows that you did. And even
yeah,
I even brought that up to you. I was like, yeah, I watched the first couple of shows. Yeah, you had a few kinks on the first one. You had less kinks on the second one. And I think by the third or your fourth show, you were getting the knack of it, like Scott Larson, when I was watching him and he was trying new things, it took him a little bit longer to adjust to things, but once he got the hang of it, everything ran like clockwork. It happens.
right.
So, but
Well,
the idea was to make things easier,
yeah,
and in theory, it was a little easier. Of
yeah.
theory,
I think I'm going to bring an extra monitor with me next time so I can keep a screen over here that's not going to be clustered.
yeah.
And that way I've got the ability to see one big thing on this, and I know the directions there. And then I got this, the primary that I'm working with.
But
I think that's an
but I'm
idea.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I want, because the next show is May the 6th.
Yep.
Which, you talk about TV stars, JD Drake, he's going to be there. Casey Fox, who's been on AEW Dark, she's going to be there. She's going to be wrestling another talented female wrestler, Brittany Jade. And I'm really looking forward to that match because this is the first female match that we're having for Pro Wrestling Union. And I don't want to sound like I was being picky, but I never booked female wrestling before. So I actually sought out feedback from people that I trusted their opinions that have worked on the same shows as them.
Right.
So anyway, with that being all said, by May, what I want to have accomplished is what I've always just wanted to do. Once everything is already set up, I want to be able to monitor my show.
I have an idea for that. And it can be done one of two ways. Either one, we find an old CCTV system at a junkyard or yard sale or some shit, and
Yeah.
we put one camera up on the rail so you can see it. And you're going to be 2 seconds behind on CCTV at best, and we'd be able to see it in the back. Like the guys in the locker room could be back there instead of curtain pinching and peeking and all this horseshit. No, they could just be back in the back and watching it on a screen.
Yeah, well,
That's the idea I had. The other idea I had is to actually run Facebook Live Messenger and put it here and then put it on a tablet and shove the tablet into the screen. I think that would also work.
yeah, because I know you mentioned a thing about guys watching and all that other stuff. I actually had one of the veteran wrestlers on that card. He and I just spoke not too long ago, so I actually missed a huge chunk of your show, and that was something that he brought up as a concern, as sometimes guys are not paying attention. So
Well,
you
I
know.
mean, do you mean like repeat move, repeat matches, things like, or repeat?
Just in general, like they're not like they're not paying attention. I won't go into it or anything like that here. I'll just say that I'm glad that people that came to the show and have told me, like, I know you said that it was great. I know that Tim said that he thought it was awesome. I wished I could tell you from start to finish it was. But I didn't get to see really much of it.
Exactly.
So So I have to actually view this all back when Luke Adams is able to get me the tapes, and I kind of hate that idea. I'm glad to get the feedback and everything like that, but I'm gonna make a few changes backstage for May 6th.
I want to give you another point of credit to Luke Adams. After the event was over, he handed the camera over and let a couple of the wrestlers watch their match and analyze it together. And you want to talk about a point to drive it home. That was it. Those two guys sat together and watched. I'm not naming names, so don't worry about it. Kayfabe my ass. Leave me alone. These two men sat there and watched their work together, and they broke it down and talked. And I'm like, that is how you make quality product right there. You don't make it. It's not sometimes lightning in a bottle, spur of the moment works gold. But when you have two guys dedicated to their craft, it's in their heart. Every time that heart beats, it means something to them. That's where the metal is made, man. That's where you get the best out of it. And when you have people constantly commenting on your shit that the best get better at Pro Wrestling Union, it was proven last night.
Yeah.
Beyond anything else in this world, that was proven last night. And I don't give a damn what anybody has to say about that because I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about me being the saint. Yeah. I'm not wrong. I might be a prick, but I'm not wrong.
but until I can sit there and review that show back, like I said, I appreciate the feedback, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. I always appreciate the feedback. But as you know, me, I might always have a difference in opinion on something because I'm not there to be like, oh, well, if the majority love it, yeah, we'll just keep doing it. No, I'm gonna be one of those people. I'm gonna be. I don't always look for the stuff that's always right. I try to look for the stuff that's wrong, so that way I could be like, all right, that's definitely not going to work, and all that other stuff. So until I see those tapes, really the only two matches that I got to watch almost in their entirety was Bebop and Skylar, and the main event, which was, I take it back. Technically, it was 3 matches. I watched the majority of Antonio and Randy, and then of course the main event with Chase and Colby Corino. And I actually had an extended talk with Colby because Colby's
father. Oh, you muted.
Colby's. Yeah, my wife's trying to call in. Sorry. But anyway, Colby, his father, Steve Corino, was actually one of the first few wrestling stars that I grew up watching that I actually got to work with. I've been in the I've been in the building with Ricky Morton. That was the first one I ever was in the building with, but I didn't get to work with him that time. It came later on down the road. Boogie Woogie was another, and once again didn't work with him, but he was in the building with me. So now there's Steve Corino, and next thing you know, I'm being told I was used as a referee, and I was going to be put into the match with him and another wrestler, Kirby Mack. He at the time he was known as Crazy K. He was like one of the big time wrestlers at that time. He was being basically used all over the place. He's originally from Philadelphia. Him and his brother moved to the Carolinas, and they were used all over the place. So they were using me for this main event spot, and Steve was so nice and so cool with me. He's like, all right, kid, this is what we're going to do. He laid everything down for me, and I was like starstruck. And then years later, getting to meet with Steve again and all that other stuff, I kind of brought it up, and Pat was like, do you remember that? And he goes, yeah, I remember that. And I'm like, I'm sorry if I was awkward. I felt the need to apologize. He's like, oh, man, you were cool.
So the cool thing about Corino last night, especially as I mentioned earlier on the show, my daughter asked him to sign the book that she's got from douchebag Dave Meltzer. But uh, anyway, and he of course obliged. I got a nice picture of it, and I mentioned to him, I said, "Hey man, look," I said, "your work in the ring tonight was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed what I saw. I don't know how in the hell you're not bigger than you are." And he was like, he kind of looked at me. I was like, I'll put it like this. I said, I just look young, but I remember watching your father when I was a kid, and I thought he was cool as shit back then. And
Yeah.
now to see you doing it at this level, I said, you're the perfect combination to me of speed and tech. And it's awesome. I love your work. I think it's great. Like,
Well,
if nothing else, he got a boatload more fans last night from people that hadn't seen him because his availability is out there. Same with John Schuyler. Yet again, another professional guy. Glad to meet him. I love the whole crew, and that's the weird. Even the ones that I don't like, I love them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know what I'm.
I know what you mean, but
I even said that straight to Chris. I said that right to Chris. I said, brother, I may not like you, but I love what you do, and I respect the shit out of you. And I wanted him to know that because I wanted him to know realistically where I was coming from when I said that. I tried to tag him in the post. Of course, they've got me blocked or whatever. It's cool. I don't care. But I wanted him to know it.
Chris had me sign an old promo picture. Hold up. I probably may not have to stay on here very long because my phone keeps blowing up on me.
Yours and mine both, dude. That's why I keep looking away.
Yeah, this is normally what happens the day after anyway. My phone never stops ringing.
Somebody educated us. I was called an asshole, not a prick, so that's cool.
But yeah, Chris Vallow, he actually found an old promo picture of me when I first came on the scene back in 2004 with the long hair and the like Amish beard, surfer look. I got the puka shell necklace. Back when I was like skinnier, ripped, and handsome, because I'm definitely not that now. So he did this thing. He's like, all right, we won the tag team title. So the bet was, if we won it, you got to sign this promo picture to the Heart Killers from your biggest fan, Cole Maccabee.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I held up sort of the thing. All he said originally in the bet was that I had to sign it. That was the original thing. The whole thing about this add-in stuff, I was like, oh, you want a message? Okay, well, you didn't say it had to be that verbatim in the original thing. So I did sign it. I said, all right, to the two biggest jackasses, love, Cole Maccabee.
There you go. And realistically, man, I've got no problem with nobody. You know me.
Yeah.
I try to be cool with everybody. In my opinion, as I said earlier, the two biggest heels in this region, Chris Vallow, Donnie Ray, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're the two biggest heels because of crowd interaction and inciting riots and hatred. It's those two.
I'm interested to see what Ethan Case has in store for Donnie Ray come April 9th.
Oh, I can't wait to be there. And Mr. Ethan Case, my friend, if you're watching, my phone's open, buddy. That phone line's still good.
But let me go ahead and get off of here. I'm going to go ahead and get inside the house real quick. And
I appreciate it. Dude, go get some rest, bro. Yesterday was a show, and tell your wife I said hello and thank you. She was super cool. And like I said, that was one of the things to see.
All right, man. You take care, okay?
Yep, you too. Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Folks, that was Mr. Cole Maccabee. Look at it. I don't know where you went wrong, Ron, with Valid, but I think he's great and we get along good. And that's saying something, my friend. Shit. Dude, I mean, some people just can't handle me. And it is what it is. I'm not for everybody. I'm an acquired taste, like a good liquor or a fine cigar. So that's what I've got to say about that. And it is what it is. But man, I'm not gonna harp on wrestling main shows because Christ, there's so much content there. I could be on here for another 6 hours just trying to catch up on the week. The reality is the rumors of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and you've got people griping about WrestleMania and the mid card titles not being on there. You've got so many different variables going on there. Uh, how about this? Here's what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna announce next weekend right here, right now. The pre show unfortunately starts at 6 p.m. That's about the time I get home from work. Saturday, if I feel up to it and I feel like there's a need for it, I'll jump in. We'll talk about NXT Stand and Deliver and get ready for the main show. I'll have the main show playing on my side screen. And if it just so happens that they get to some action, we need to go the hell off the air because I'm not trying to draw against Mania because it's fucking Mania, and you'd be an idiot to try to run against WrestleMania, in my opinion. I've said that multiple times, and I'm sticking to my guns. Now, Sunday, Mania Sunday, that's the third. Mr. Ethan Case was slated to join me. Unfortunately, Mr. Case does not do anything wrestling related on Sundays. By all means, my brother, that's perfectly okay. I am down with that. So, in retrospect, him and I have decided to move that to Monday. So I'll still be doing something on Sunday. We'll have a pre-show, a little bit of hullabaloo about Stand and Deliver and Mania one night, and then we'll go previewing Mania 2 night. And we're not going to go all haywire into details. I want it to be more of a conversation about what's going on, as opposed to holy crap, all the details. I don't want to go through a full rundown. Full rundowns are monotonous. There's so much of that out there right now. Then moving on into Monday, we got Mr. Ethan Case coming on the 4th. It looks as though it's going to be that evening. I don't know what time, but him and I are still hammering out those details. As soon as I know, folks, you'll know. And that's the beauty of that, because Mr. Ethan Case is going to come on here. We're going to talk about the Palmetto Wrestling Academy. We're going to talk about their upcoming show on the 9th, and we're going to go from there. Now, that's Monday the 4th. On Tuesday the 5th, you got the Roundtable Rumble right here. TRWC, my page, The Saint, my page, Ron Emerson Jr., because quite frankly, I really don't care who knows my real name and who doesn't. You can find me. You can try to screw with me. All good, babe. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to care about. That's the life I live. Then we're going to Friday night, April the 8th. We'll be at His Pro Wrestling in Una, South Carolina. I will be your ring announcer yet again. I gotta say this, guys. I am so freaking happy and grateful. Mr. William Rollins, thank you very much for allowing me to do a Scott Hall tribute and tell a story about, kind of related to Scott. It was Scott's mother that I met when I was a kid. Mr. Rollins, I thank you again for that. And to all the women, men and women who were in the back, everybody came out. We did a 10-bell salute, and all the wrestlers pounded the ring. I had to turn away from the crowd because it was showing on my face, the emotion running through it. And my wife, my beautiful wife, thank you very much for videotaping that and sharing it. If you haven't seen it, it's on my page. I will also share it to the Saints page, so that way, no matter where you're at or where you're from, or if you're a fan, if you freaking hate me, no matter what, you're seeing this, even if you hate me. So are you really a hater, or are you just a fan that doesn't like me? What is it? There's always something fun there. So we got April the 8th there in Una, South Carolina. Man, Wesley Flasky, brother, if you didn't see my tribute, dude, you need to go check it out, man, because I felt some kind of way about it. And then I had my friends in the crowd, like friends of mine from my regular life work. They made this huge sign, like 3 foot by 2 foot sign, and they wrote "The Saint," and they had one of my pictures from the internet on there, and they were holding it up. And before the show started, I walked over there and signed it for them, man. Dude, you need to go check it out. It's on my page, bro. You'll dig it. You'll love it. Hopefully, I think the audio is pretty good on that. But to my friends from work, Dusty, Jordan, and Storm, and yeah, that's their real names. Storm is really his freaking name because I know it's legit government name, but I don't know what it really is. But or I can't remember. And but I call him freaking Storm, and he's an awesome dude. I think the world of these guys. They're all really good people. But they showed up, and they were just there and paid their way in just because I was working. So they were like, "We want to see what it's about, and we want to see you." So go Saint. And I'm like, "Holy crap, that was so cool." I walked over there, signed their poster, with my Saint name or whatever, and went on. And, I interacted with the crowd as best I could. Um, that was a jacked up night though. I'm so glad my friend Jackson Saint is okay. He just suffered a pretty bad concussion. He's out for the remainder of the month, but we're almost at the end of it. And so he'll be back in the ring soon, guys. He'll be back in the ring. I believe as of the weekend of the 8th. Then April 9th, we're going to be down at Palmetto Championship Wrestling for their next show, Bad Vibes. I can't wait to see Shane Dorr and all my friends down there. I am happy and blessed to be where I'm at in this. Elliot, I can't wait to see and speak with you. Dave Foster, my friend, I can't wait to see you again. Just everybody there. Arisha, if you're there, I would really love a chance to speak with you and talk to, maybe get you into a podcast after you just came out of training and you're looking to go into working. I think it's a excellent thing that what you're doing and trying to do the right thing. And for a young lady to put that much emphasis on it, driving 3.5 hours one way just to go to wrestling training, her and her father, 3.5 hours one way, guys, one way, 3.5 hours to go to training twice a week. 7 hours round trip to go to training twice a week. And some of you asshats out here that want to be pro wrestlers don't get off your couch all week. Sorry about your luck, but that's dedication, that's drive, that's determination, and that's somebody who freaking wants it. And I got a lot of respect for her, and I've never even spoken a word to her, and I already respect her. So that's cool. I would love to get a chance to say hello to her. I'm hoping to see young Moody in action. Guy was fresh out of training, had his debut match there. Match was phenomenal. Freaking enjoyed it, dude. I can't wait to see everybody there. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can do something in the future, guys. But at any rate, today's going to be a short show because I'm half in the tank, number one. And number two, I'm just burnt from yesterday. Slam pack burnout. I got in at like 1:30 this morning. I didn't sleep real good. Just, yesterday was a long day and it was uncomfortable by the time I got down the road. But at any rate, folks, I will catch you all down the road. It's been real. It's been fun. Hell, it's been real fun. And I can't wait to see you next time at the Wrestling Wire. Thus